Hey guys, Flabaliki here today and welcome back to the Planet Coaster Dark Ride. It's been like a month and a half, maybe more than that now since the last part. It's been too long. Anyway, this is the final part. We're finishing it off. So Alpha 3 has just come out. The game has moved over to Steam, and as such, you can download this park via the Steam Workshop now. That's where I'll be posting all sort of coaster builds and all that kind of stuff. So I'll have the link to that in the description down below, so you can click on that, you can subscribe to it and download it and play with it in your own game. Now, just as a fair warning, this park was, and this coaster was originally built in Alpha 1. We've now progressed 2 more Alphas, and a few things have broken. I did fix, and it's not in this recording because I did it before because it's quite tedious, but I fixed the station of this coaster so that people can actually ride it. So people do ride it. I think the main problem I had when we built this is ideally this coaster would have been much better as a Eurofighter, which they now have in the game. So it would have been much better to build it as that, or even a Wild Mouse maybe, but that's not in the game yet. But anyway, that would have been good. But we've built it as like a corkscrew coaster, the American Arrow, whatever it is, type of coaster. We originally had the werewolf cars on it, which were like cars for a different... Anyway, with all these changes, a lot of stuff has kind of made it a bit awkward to work with. So you'll kind of just have to excuse a lot of that stuff, and a lot of, like, the rest of this map, because in case you don't know, in the rest of this sort of park, we had the what was it, like the street build, the pirate street build, and then there was also a couple of other coasters I built. A lot of that stuff over there is broken just because they've updated assets over the 2 versions. But this ride is fine. It's good. I kind of wish that we had colors beforehand, but now we do have colors. You can see I'm changing it all to black because it makes it so much more dark for a dark ride, which makes sense. So I didn't change the entire coaster build because a lot of the rest of the build we actually kind of worked with the blue, especially in the little village scene or harbor town scene. That actually works quite well with the blue because it kind of looks like a sunset and it looks like a blue sky. Whereas in here, I wanted to go for a different look, just making it as dark as possible. This kind of area and the next room over, I kind of went with, I guess they're kind of a cave in a way. It's basically super dark. You'll see it in the actual coaster point of view video, which I think I'll do as a separate video, just so people that don't want to watch, the 6 parts of this coaster build can just watch that if they prefer. Yeah, anyway, this is cool. The blueprints feature, completely new. I'm not actually using those, but I was like, that's cool. So this is basically where you can just place pre-built buildings, and obviously where you subscribe to all the ones from the workshop, that's where they all appear, which I think is awesome. And that's going to open up a huge, huge door for a bunch of cool stuff that you can save time doing. So we're just going in here. I decided to remove the floor, and also we're making like a little sort of cavern. Not really, well, I guess it is kind of a cavern, but lowering the ground because I thought maybe we should play around with some water because I finally added water into the game as well. And water is purely cosmetic. It doesn't really do anything other than looking pretty, and the water does look pretty. So I have a bit of fun with that in a bit of time, and you'll see it sort of fill up there. So yeah, these 2 rooms are... they're very, very dark when it all sort of comes together. I thought we'd use some of these new pieces, some of these new castle pieces. They added a bunch of really, really useful pieces, actually. And of course, all of these can change color. I didn't change the color on these because I thought it actually looked quite good and it kind of fit in well with the area. We're building kind of like a small turret and castle wall just as a little decoration, which I think in the end, it actually turns out really quite nice because when the coaster sort of rolls through here really slow, because as you remember, when it goes over the top, it goes super slow, which I don't think it was ever supposed to be like that, if I recall, but it was because because we've been through like 2 alphas with this coaster. It's kind of dodgy in a lot of aspects, and to be honest, and I think you'll say the same. I think it's time that we move on from the dark ride, which is why this is me finishing it. I've completely finished it off now. It's done after this video. And we'll do something completely new because a lot of the stuff is broken anyway in this park. And this coaster has been dragging on for too long. I gotta be honest, I do totally regret doing a dark ride. It was a fun idea, but I think the problem was because I started it before Alpha 2. If I had started in Alpha 2, I probably would have just done it underground with terrain and just had like a small entrance, like an entrance building, and then you go underground. And then you don't have to worry about building all the walls every 5 seconds. And if you want to build walls, you can, but I think that would have been a nicer way to go about it. Or just building the building first and then the coaster inside of it, which is probably also a better idea. But anyway, yeah, so I love that they changed all the trees and shrubbery, and they've added a bunch of new plants as well. So you just saw when I was placing those trees, they sort of like leaned out on the ground, which is kind of weird, doesn't make much sense. But it is super useful if you do want to do that, because now that you can rotate the trees however you want, you can have some that are like fallen over, some that are leaning, and just have a bit of fun with that. So because they added the align to surface / add to building. So now you can add plants like trees and rocks and all that to buildings. So they will be saved with the building as well when you share to the workshop, which I think is cool. Anyway, so this is just kind of like, I guess it's kind of a cavern, but kind of not, because there's trees in it, right? So I guess I would think of it more of a swamp land area, because you got this weird water and it's kind of, anyway, so I'm using these particle effects, this smoke, to make like a little smoke screen through that hole. So it actually works really well, surprisingly. Like when it goes nighttime, you actually can't see through there. It really blocks off the view to the next room, which I think is awesome. So I've just skipped ahead here, made it nighttime, because unfortunately, yes, this is the dark ride, but unfortunately we have no lights anywhere, except for a few of the rooms. So we're just getting some lights here in the queue room, and you can see the queue room has changed a little bit. As you can see, the pathway sort of goes up that side. I think it used to go flat for another row and then go up the next turn, but because I had to flip the station around, I had to change that a little bit. Oh, you'll notice, yeah, so one of the things that broke that I was like, I'm not even going to fix that because it's not a huge deal, but you'll see there's 2 doors straight ahead right now. All of those pieces, and I used a bunch of those pieces on the outside of the building, they all swapped to doors now. I don't know why. So the Alpha 3, they've all changed to doors, which is unfortunate. But I felt at the end of the day, as long as I was happy with the sort of the actual ride portion of this, I think it's time to move on and not dwell on weird little quirks. And, we'll learn that for next time that, hey, let's do it a bit quicker than, 5-month build. So yeah, and there's a few little things like that. I mean, to be honest, those doors don't actually look that bad there. They look like they're kind of supposed to be there. But it's the ones on the outside that look a bit weird. Anyway, so we're going around putting a bunch of spotlights in. I was going to hide the lights. Like, I was actually going to hide them in the walls and that, but I thought that actually looked kind of cool just hanging around on the roof. Like, I mean, it makes sense. It is supposed to be, I guess, a realistic ride in the sense that, if there's lights on a real ride, you're going to see the lights. Like, lights aren't invisible. You kind of need to be able to see them. They could be hidden behind some sort of like plants or something, and some of them are, but a lot of them I've just hung them off the roof just because I think the problem is none of the other lights in this game actually produce that much light. Like, all of the lights that we have are really quite dim and really, really small. The only other one that really produces any amount of light is the street light for paths, but that doesn't really make sense to put on the ride. Yeah, but so you kind of have to use these spotlights. But I guess the cool thing is, now that we only have one spotlight and it has like a million different color choices, I think that is awesome. You can choose so many different colors, but I mostly just use red. So basically, I've lit up these rooms mostly with white lights, just a standard light, and then I've changed certain parts of it to red. So the parts that are red, I guess you could think of them as danger zones, where it's like, ooh, what's going to happen? Like, maybe there's a low ceiling, or it sort of goes around a corner. So the red light I put in just then, when you're coming down the hill really fast, you can't really see the track ahead of you, but that red light sort of illuminates kind of a bit of the terrain and a little bit of the track. So it looks like you're going to go straight ahead into the to the cliff rather than turn, which I thought was kind of cool. And we do a few more red lights here and there, but you can see that we just put a few lights at the top of the building, and then essentially I'm just changing some of them, and then I sort of line them up. So you can see that red light there. It's shining on the track just before you go through the cliff. Of course, we need a little bit of a light over there as well. So, I mean, the name of this thing is Dark Ride, so I have been, conscious to keep it fairly dark, which I guess is not necessarily the best thing for a YouTube video, is it being super dark, but I think it actually looks so awesome. And if you do have the game, I do suggest downloading this and riding it for yourself. I will do, the actual video of us riding it, but it's so cool just to fly through and have a look at it yourself rather than in a video. Especially, I really liked this room, actually, when it was dark. I mean, this ride looks awful during the daytime because light just bleeds through the walls. Which, yeah, you can see here. Now, this is daytime, which I really hope that they change with release or something, because this is all inside and we have no light, so it shouldn't be this bright. I don't know if the same thing is true if we did it in a cave, like if we used the terrain tool. I don't think light would come through then, but I think because we're just using walls, it doesn't properly, like, make it dark, which it doesn't, which is annoying. Which is another reason why it would have been nice if I waited to Alpha 2 when we had the terrain tool to do it. I might play around with that actually. If I just build a huge mountain over this ride, I wonder if it'll make it much darker. Because that would be ideal. Because the problem I had with this actually, especially when I was trying to take, when I was trying to do the point of view, first person riding of the coaster, you can only ride the coaster once before it's daytime again. So if you wait till, on this park anyway, if you wait till nighttime, you literally ride the coaster once, and by the time you're done, it's daytime again, which is not great. So it meant it took me ages to try and just get a few shots of the coaster going by and then riding it, which is why I hope that the lighting is changed a little bit. Anyway, so I kept this room fairly simple as well. It was going to have a few more buildings in it, but when I did think about that is, you're riding through here on a coaster going pretty fast. You're not going to see any of the buildings because it's all going to be quite close together. So we went for a similar philosophy as we did for the other room, where it's just, I guess, a cavern-y kind of swampy area. It's quite dark. It's filled with stuff. I do put a building in here. I do actually put one of the blueprint buildings in here because I thought it was quite cool. I'm using this, what I assume is like a gate. Looks kind of like a castle gate. I put it on the roof because I thought it looked kind of cool. I don't know. Thought it could create a cool effect as you're going through on the coaster. But yeah, we're just getting some plant life in here, getting some ivy on the walls because they've got some actual proper ivy now. And I was going to do this huge like tunnel thing, but I was like, okay, maybe not. It doesn't really, it doesn't really work that well. So let's not do that. And instead, just put that there. And I think, I put some water in here. Actually, I think I'd remove the water. I was going to have water in here as well. But then I think because I put a castle there instead that I changed that. So the outside of the building is still ugly as hell. But at the same time, like I said earlier, this is the end. I don't want to, I think I could make the outside of the building look much better, but to be honest, I don't really want to do that. It wouldn't be fun for me. It wouldn't be fun to watch either, to be honest. It would just be a lot of super tedious stuff. So I was like, look, as long as I make the inside of this ride look awesome and really, really cool, I'm happy to call it done and move on to some new projects, which I really want to do some new stuff because there's a whole bunch of new rides. There's like park management. There's money now. There's park ratings. There's all this kind of stuff. So they have a whole bunch of new stuff that I want to start playing, and might even do a regular kind of let's play on Planet Coaster as well. I'm not sure yet because it kind of depends if it will work well. I'm not sure, but stay tuned for that. Might maybe do like live streams of it, live streams of just playing the game rather than building certain things. I don't know, because we could do a live stream let's play kind of thing of that, or maybe just on the channel. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below of this which you prefer to see, because I don't know if there's a huge there's this sort of challenge mode where it's to do with money, but there's no like scenarios or anything yet. So I don't know if there's a huge amount to do like in a let's play, but maybe we could even just do like a mini let's play until the next update. Maybe if we do like Alpha 3 let's play or something, and then when it goes to Alpha 4 or whatever's next, I don't know, maybe whatever full release, then we'll just start a new series with that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but gotta play around with it. So the other problem is, you can see me flying around there a little bit. The other problem is, now we're inside again, and it is pitch black. So we've got to go through this last bit of the ride, get some lights in here so you can actually see the ride. Like I think it looks beautiful because I did actually update the lighting in the game, and I believe. Oh, I can't remember the technical term. So they updated the lighting, and it looks really, really cool. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say, and I think it does actually look. Really, and the lighting looked incredible before this update, but I think it looks so nice now, especially in these two rooms in particular are super dark because of the wall color and because of the lighting that we've done. It's really dark, and the track is all black as well, so I think it looks really cool. And I wanted to get some fire in here, but it didn't really make sense for this particular ride, so I was like, you can see me. I'm like, I really want to put it in. I really, really do. But there's nowhere for it to go. But that's pretty much it for the interior. You can see I'm just testing it out with my camera flying through, checking out all the views. And I'm really, really happy with it. I think the ride turned out really beautifully. And I'm really happy with the ride. As for the building itself, I can't say the same. But to be honest, I just want to, wipe my hands of it, move on. And again, you can download this via the Steam Workshop if you have the game. The link will be down below. Hopefully it will work when the game comes out as well. Some more things might break. There's already a number of broken things in this particular particular save anyway, but the ride itself I think is awesome. I'm really proud of that. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. You can click down below as well to watch the actual point of view riding of the roller coaster. That'll be fun. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time, and have an awesome day.